to sleep with Bathsheba, another man's wife, and as a result, his baby died. Because wherever choice is, you'll find devastation. Jonah made a choice to go to Tarshish when he was supposed to go to Nineveh, and as a result got threw off the ship and swallowed up by a whale. Because wherever choice is, you'll find devastation. Eve, after being given the Garden of Eden, after made a choice that she would go outside the Garden of Eden and eat, and she gave it to her husband, and as a result, men became sin-natured, and women begin to suffer still today because of pregnancy. All because wherever choice is, you'll find devastation. I feel quotations. It is in these acts called trivialities that the seed of joy are forever wasted, until men and women look around with haggard faces at the devastation of their own ways that they have made, and say into their hearts that it's only because of what I chose, denying their knowledge. So listen, not only will you find separation when you find choice, not only does devastation comes with choice, but wherever choice is, you'll find elevation. You'll find elevation. And elevation is an elevated place or position. It's a change of your status. Touch your neighbor right quick and say, neighbor, I'm changing my status. When you find elevation, when you find choice, choice can change your status, because whatever decision you make, it can change your position of where you are. Y'all don't want to talk to me. Jacob was the son of Isaac and of Rebekah, and was considered a liar, a cheater, a supplanter, a thief, who spent his life running from his brother Esau. One day he made a choice that he did not want to be in the position that he was no more, being one who lies and one who steals and cheats. And he found himself, once he had separated from his family, he found himself wrestling with God. And God told him, listen, let me go. But he would not let him go, because he made a choice to hold him until the next day. And because he made the choice, watch this, God said, because you wrestle with me all night long, I'm not only going to bless you, but I'm going to change your name. And the changing of your name is going to change your position. When you used to be a supplanter, you get rid of. So you have to understand, people of God, that wherever choice is, there is a lot of package that come with it. You got to be careful when you say, I'm giving you a choice, because with choice comes separation, with choice comes devastation, and with choice comes elevation. I just quote one more and I'm going to quit. There is a kind of elevation which does not depend on fortune. It is a certain air which distinguishes us and seems to destine us for great things. It is a price which we impersonally set upon ourselves. And so elevation does not come unless you make the choice to succeed forward. Touch your neighbor and say, neighbor, I ain't staying where I am. I'm elevating to my next level. And so when you look at the text and you find what Joshua is dealing with the children of Israel, there are two things I want to point to you so that you can know. First of all, before I finish, I want you to touch your neighbor, because I got to tell you what God told me to tell you. The Lord told me to tell you. God said, go to Interstate, tell the people in Interstate 007. Tell them 007. Say, tell them right there, say, I see 007 in your life. Yeah, and I'm going to tell you about that later, but listen to me right here. Listen to me. And so listen, this is what Joshua does. Joshua knows how God is, because he's been with God long enough that God caused a man who was stagnating him to die in his midst, and told Joshua, listen, Moses is dead. Now get up and arise and bring these people to a place that I have ordained for you to go. And the Bible said that when they got there, God allowed Joshua to beat the Amorites, the Hittites, the Jebusites, and every site that came in their position, God allowed them to beat. So he already knew what God did. And he already knew what God can do. And so because he already knew what God did and he knew what God can do, he refused to change his mind about who he was going to serve. So watch what Joshua do, and it's going to mess you up.
Come on.
Joshua does something that messed me up. He gave Israel the right to choose. Y'all got that? Just work a little bit on preach. He gave them the right. He said, choose ye this day whom you. He gave them a right to choose. That was the first thing he did. But the second thing he did is that he didn't give his house a choice. I'm about to smell it. He gave every person who had a double mindset, every person that was dibbling and dabbling, that was clubbing on Friday and then thought they were going to come in and get their hands on Sunday, but every person that was taking all their time, money, and spending it, he said, listen, you got to make a choice because you all are mixed up in some things. He said, you got to make a choice who you going to serve. He said, but as for me, we don't have a choice. And all I came here to tell you is that, baby, if I be true with you, really the choice is already made. I decided to walk with. They ain't shouting, you know why? You know what they ain't shouting? Because they say, he gonna come here and mess this thing up. Now, we didn't tell the children they had a right to choose, and he gonna come here and say the choice is already made. Let me help you. The Bible says in Matthew, or should I say in John, Jesus said, you have not chosen me. I chose you. Because if I would have gave you the opportunity to choose, then you would have choose something other than me. But I chose you. He said you didn't have a choice because when you had the choice, you was headed for hell. But I made hell be still and came in and said, you know what? I know it was the blood. And I bought you with what I had. I chose you. Let me help you right quick. I know it's Bible that when God got Israel, that he gave them choices. I know y'all hear it all the time. That he gave them choices and that he told them, make sure you make up your mind on who you're going to worship. But I'm going to be honest with you. Really? God said, I'm going to give you a choice, but you better choose right. The fact that he was telling them, choose you this day, was just a cliche. But the truth of the matter is, he already knew in his mind who they had better choose. Because if you don't choose God, you lose. So watch this. I look at the word choose. And I say, it's good. We need to go there, God, and tell the people that you got a right to choose. But God said, I want you to see what Joshua really was saying. Joshua said, y'all go ahead and make a choice because I've already made a commitment. When you commit to something, it means that you don't stagger in it. But if you're going to serve God, you're going to stay in one position and serve him. I'm going to walk in his statutes. I ain't changing my mind. I don't care what you say. Another thing I want you to know about Joshua, he said, listen, anything y'all want to do, go ahead and do it. But what you do won't affect my house. The Bible says, blessed is the man that's walking not in the counsel of the ungodly. He said, you know what? From right here, we're separated. Joshua gave them the opportunity to separate.
Come on, Pastor. Preach, Pastor.
He says, you go ahead and make a choice. He said, but I'm getting ready. I've already made a commitment. The Lord told me to come tell you in this that we got too many people who are still making choices when they should be and made a commitment by now. That's why you got folks still shacking up for 6 years. And when you're actually when they get married, they say we still trying to find out one another. You need to make a commitment.